Hello there, I'm Peter Jostling from the UK, and I'm here to tell you about one of my latest formulations, which is called HeartLife. Now, this is obviously for cardiovascular disease, and I'm going to tell you why HeartLife is very good news for your blood. Now, you probably don't realise that there are more than 2,600 Americans that die every day because of heart-related diseases. That's one every 33 seconds. So it's a very serious problem, and cardiovascular disease is still the biggest killer in the Western world. So we need to do something about it. Now, there are lots and lots of different risk factors, which I'm sure many of you will be familiar with. Things like high blood cholesterol, high blood pressure, smoking, obesity, a lack of physical exercise, diabetes, poor circulation, and increasingly we're understanding that stress levels also cause direct cardiovascular disease. In fact, it's estimated now that stress is one of the biggest killers in the Western world. Something like 70% of all visits to physician offices are stress related. So stress also affects your brain function, and they're now suggesting that emotional stress between couples can be a good predictor of future cardiovascular disease. So it's really, really important to have a compound that can reduce stress levels as well as cardiovascular disease, and that's what HeartLife does for you. Now, you can also take some measures yourself, lifestyle measures we're talking about, which again, most of you will know that if you eat more fruit and vegetables, that's sensible. If you exercise more often, if you reduce the intake of saturated fat, that's a good thing. Eat less red meat if you can. If you can stop smoking, that will have a big effect on your future life. And if you can just drink sensibly. All of these are lifestyle changes, some of which are more difficult to affect than others, we know that, but at the end of the day, anything you can do to reduce your risk level is going to be a good thing. And that's where HeartLife comes into play. Basically a combination of 5 active ingredients. The primary agent is stabilised allicin extract, which I led the team in the invention of stabilizing allicin from fresh garlic many years ago now, but we're now understanding that when you add other interesting and active ingredients into the allicin, you get synergy, and that means you get a much better effect than if you were to dose these compounds separately. So what we've added: flax seeds, sesame seeds, L-arginine, and cayenne pepper. Now, all of these are in a vegetarian capsule, and basically you probably know that they're all pretty good vasodilators, so they open up your vessels and arteries. Now, as you age, unfortunately, those vessels and arteries get much stiffer. So anything you can do to relax them is going to allow the blood to be pumped around your cardiovascular system much more easily. And that's what all these ingredients will do. They will vasodilate. They'll also boost your immune system, and if you're like me, a diabetic type 1, then your immune system is already relatively compromised. If you already have cardiovascular disease, then your immune system is already dealing with that problem. If you have arthritis or any one of a number of other conditions, then you need an immune boosting formulation to take every day. And that's what HeartLife will do for you. They're all blood cleansers, they're all circulation stimulators, and most of those agents have been studied so extensively, we know that they have virtually no side effects whatsoever. We use what's known as a digital pulse wave analyzer to look at your heart rate variability. That means we're looking at your heart rate, your pulse height, your arterial wall stiffness, your artery age, and the stress levels on your heart. So we can tell immediately whether you are under stress and pressure on your heart as soon as you come into a clinic. So what we do is we show that HeartLife dramatically increases the elasticity of your arteries. That means that more blood gets pumped around your cardiovascular system, and that's exactly what you need as you age. And basically, HeartLife actually makes you younger on the inside. Quite incredible, but that's effectively what happens. We've also shown in clinic tests and in studies in various countries now that we can reduce sitting stress by about 60% within 10 minutes, and in the same time frame we can actually reduce standing stress levels by a similar amount. So HeartLife does some fantastic things for all of those cardiovascular risk factors, but what it also does is improve the quality of your blood. And we can show under dark field microscopy that your blood improves dramatically over a 1 month period if you take just 2 capsules of HeartLife per day. In fact, the maximum dose you should need ever to take is 6 capsules per day. It's perfectly safe, it's easy to take, and my colleagues have all said this is the most incredible series of results we've ever seen with a cardiovascular agent in terms of helping the cardiovascular system to deal with disease states. You can add it in safely to all other pharmaceutical drugs without any worry, including blood thinners like warfarin and Coumadin. And you will find that HeartLife will improve your cardiovascular life significantly, and effectively it will reduce your artery age and make them much more flexible, so you will be younger on the inside. So I do hope you'll get the chance to look at HeartLife. And of course what you need to do is to go to VolDox.com, as they are the main distributors of HeartLife.